And now, a Fear Fic Flicks discussion on FearDotCom with your hosts, Slimebeast, Abysmii, and Dead Palette.
Oh, God.
Here we go.
You guys ready?
Mhm.
You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody, to Fear Fic Film Freak Fiction Flashers. We're fucking movie buffs that love horror movies, and
It's Fear Fic Flicks.
And boy, can't wait for It Part 3 to hit theaters, everybody.
I saw it part 2 on a plane. I was not impressed.
Part 3, ironically enough, Part 3 is It on a Plane. That's going to be the title.
That would be great.
If Stephen King is so good, why isn't there a Stephen King 2?
Why isn't there a Stephen Queen? It's 2020, people.
Gotta reboot Stephen King.
The all-female reboot of Stand By Me.
Wait, can we gender swap Misery? Because people would not like that.
Oh, man.
Gender swap Carrie. Then it just doesn't make any fucking sense.
They're all gonna laugh at you, dude.
I'm gonna pour blood on you. Oh, this is mildly inconvenient. I guess I'll go home and shower. Bye.
Okay.
Why is blood coming out of my genitals? It's like, I don't know why blood's coming out of your genitals.
Fuck, dude, bro.
Blood's coming out of your genitals, brah.
So, first of all, you can't do a gender-swapped Carrie, because that's just a school shooter movie.
Oh.
Secondly, you can't do gender-swapped Misery, because that's just Gamergate.
Which is exactly why they should do it.
Oh.
What's gender swap Pet Cemetery? Does it matter?
Gender swapped Pet Cemetery.
It's just a bunch of
2016.
furries.
I don't know.
It's just a bunch of furries that are killing people with trucks.
Ooh, ooh.
And Elizabeth Warren's in there.
Gender swapped Maximum Overdrive. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So we watched Fear.com.
Oh fuck. That's true.
Yeah, I know. We need to talk about it, but we kind of don't want to, but we should. Everyone who follows this channel probably knows that we released a commentary track. You can check that out on Newgrounds, and it will be in a link in this description of this video.
And you may be saying to yourself, why didn't you guys upload that to YouTube? Well, Abysmii will explain now.
Why we didn't upload the whole fucking movie?
The track. The
track. Because it's just easier for you to download and then save as an MP3 and watch along with the movie.
True.
A movie, by the way, that you should totally obtain through completely legal means.
Yes.
And it's very, very easy to find it on streaming services and otherwise. So use completely legal means.
Yeah.
I would suggest getting a physical copy of it and put it in your locker, in your put locker. You're just going to put locker, that's what you're going to do with it once you're done watching it.
It's going to make you cry as if you tore an onion. Wait, does that have anything to do with downloading movies?
Pirates often sail through a bay.
God damn it.
They do, Abysmii, but let's stay on topic, okay?
Sure.
You'll enjoy
Solaris.com.
God fucking. You'll enjoy it so much, you'll shout, "Kazaa! I want to take a napster after watching this."
Oh my god. Any 30-year-olds in the audience who just got massive nostalgia stab right there?
We all need to start actually getting to our opinions. So let's all be share bears about this and give our opinions.
Yes, let's just talk about the movie and get the film sent to you directly from Slimebeast about how we feel about FearDotCom.
Dropbox. So Slimebeast loves this movie. He will not stop talking about it and was begging Dead Pal and I to watch it with him, so we finally relented.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched it, and we made a commentary track, and we just want to give our initial impressions about it. Full disclosure, I rewatched this thing yesterday, And I thought to myself, okay, when we first watched it,
What
we
a
were talking a lot.
world.
What an awful world. When we first watched it, we were talking a lot. Couldn't hear, we were talking over the dialogue quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, hey,
what a wonderful world.
What a wonderful film. I probably missed a lot of this. I probably, I'm not giving it enough credit, and I really should just listen to the dialogue and pay more attention. I retained fucking nothing of this movie on the second watch. Like, nothing changed. I still have all the same questions. I still have all the same criticisms. It's just so fucking funny.
Well, at least you watched it again. I watched it long ago, which is why I suggested it.
Well, you don't need to, because you own it and you host a blog about it. That's how much you like this movie.
Right. I run the FearDotCom Wikia, or fandom.
The FearDotCom fandom Wikia.
But my point being that Abysmii and I have seen it twice. DP, I assume you've only watched it once, and it was the time when we talked over it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I liked my experience with the movie. We should probably talk about what it is, what the plot of the movie is in just a moment. But I will say that it is a very, very, let's just get it out of the way. It's a very good, bad movie.
Yes.
It's an excellent, good, bad movie.
Is it a bad, good movie, or is it a good, bad movie?
I would say it's a bad, good.
Okay.
So
I would say it's a good, bad. So I'm going to disagree with you there. DP, you want to be the breaking vote?
I'm gonna break bad and be, I don't know.
Okay.
I would say it's a movie that you can enjoy sardonically.
But definitely watch it with other people.
Yes, you have to watch it with other people,
right?
Because it's
not
otherwise
with family,
you're just gonna
because there's lots of tits.
Oh my god, are there tits? There's so many
tits for days.
And as a boob man myself, even I'm like, okay, this is getting excessive.
I'm
There's
a
no
boob
reason for them
man.
to be on screen.
Let me motivate. So the movie is about Mike Riley, who is an NYPD detective who is called to the scene of a mysterious death in a subway system.
The victim, reading from Wikipedia.
Continue. Yes.
Okay, well, I was going to paraphrase it. I wasn't going to read verbatim, but fine. The victim, Polidori, exhibits bleeding from his eyes and other orifices. So you see, this is why I say it's like the first creepypasta, because this came out in 2002.
Kinda, yeah.
Bleeding eyes, internet viruses, dead ghosts, shit like that.
Yeah.
By the frozen look on his face, which is from The Ring, appears to have seen something horrifying before being hit by a train. Department of Health researcher Terry Houston is intrigued by the find as well. Particularly,
this is the one movie where a Department of Health official has like a leading role in anything.
Yeah.
Like that's such an obscure department to be like, oh yeah, we need to get to the Department of Health on this. Exactly. Usually it's the CDC or something.
The World Health Organization.
Yeah.
You're supposed to say who? Particularly when several more victims show up with identical symptoms. Now, do we want to discuss like this part of the plot?
I think real briefly we can say that the beginning of the movie, it sets up like, okay, look at this mystery. This guy just kind of like dies out of nowhere, and you're left to uncover the mystery. And then we get a detective whose name is Mike Riley, because it says that here.
Yeah,
I would not know otherwise.
Right.
Who teams up with Terry to investigate, what's going on. This, seems to, be these people keep dying in some sort of mimetic way. There's something that's linking them all together, and that's the mystery that you unravel, and it doesn't make any sense.
Well, and the funny thing is they first go, oh, it must be a virus because people are bleeding from their eyes and nose. But in all, they only really turn up 3 or 4 bodies. And like, if you compare it to other viruses and disease outbreaks, that's really not like someone going, it must be a virus because someone's bleeding from their face. That could be so many different things.
It could be Facington's disease.
We have nothing for that.
Okay, so anyway, I wanted to point out something interesting here. Not only is this the first appearance of our main antagonist of the film, the most intriguing villain in movie history, Girl with Ball or Ball, depending on which one you believe.
Well, we'll get to Ball and how Ball is the best character and the only redeeming quality of this entire movie.
But not only does it have Girl with Ball, a all-white girl, literally,
yes, white
in every
girl
way.
dressed in white in a dingy subway.
I'm white,
I'm the white ball.
Not only do we have her, but we have Polidori.
Or Mike Swastika.
Mike Swastika, god damn it. Okay, we have Polidori. Now, Polidori is played by an actor that I like, who's in various things. He's sort of that guy who just is like a weird.
You?
Huh? A weird what?
Yeah. He's that guy that's weird and you.
Oh, thanks. He's like in various movies and shows and different things like that. He just is like the guy who's like a almost Peter Lorre type guy, even though he's not. The accents don't match up. But he's Polidori, and it's like this is the guy who's integral to the plot somehow, but yet he shows up in the beginning, bleeds from the face, gets hit by a train, and it's like, okay, that was Polidori, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's the weird thing. Like, he dies, and fine, he's the inciting incident. That's perfectly fine. But then other people also die. But it always comes back to, wait, you knew who Polidori was? And when they mentioned his name again, I was like, wait, is that the dude with the cigarette? No, that's the guy in the beginning.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about him.
He wrote a book about ghosts on the internet or something, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, man. It's a paper-thin fucking plot.
Oh, you know what? This movie is the first creepypasta, and Polidori is the first no-sleep author. That's what it is.
Ooh.
I looked for a ghost on the internet and ended up getting hit by a train while a girl bounced a ball.
Because by No Sleep's own rules, you have to be alive at the end of the story. So technically, no.
That's true.
Because that does so much to increase the believability, credibility, and immersion of No Sleep stories. Mm-hmm. Am I right, No Sleep mods? You fucking hacks.
How dare you?
So, what is it that we actually discover is killing these people?
Go ahead, Slimebeast.
When a contagious virus is ruled out somehow. Well, how did they rule out it's a contagious virus? I mean, they just kind of decided it isn't, but.
Well, not Terry, but the other blonde woman who was also in the STEM field. Denise, Amelia Harris's character, Denise, she basically goes to them after doing her own research and says, yeah, it's not a virus or whatever. And they also they have an autopsy done, and the autopsy technician says, no, it's not a virus. And they go, well, what the heck could it be?
I did my autopsy on the body, and I've discovered that it's not a virus. How? Just look at them.
Look at them.
I don't see any viruses, do you? Mm-hmm. I don't see anything crawling around on them. Somehow they rule it out. Terry and Mike team up to discover what might be killing these people. Initially, they are unable to find anything to connect the deaths together for 2 seconds in the movie. They're completely at a loss, and they're baffled for a few minutes. After some more digging for clues, they eventually discover that all of the victims' computers crashed shortly before their passings.
So before all of this, before the computers crash, we've already, by this point in the movie, had people hallucinating Girl with Ball, right?
Yeah.
Who was never explained.
No.
Actually, sort of, but
directly, but yeah.
You have to really be paying attention to this shit show of a show.
And it's really difficult because the plot happens and it's interrupted by this terribly introduced will they, won't they between the two main characters that goes nowhere. And they have zero chemistry.
Will Mike Riley and Terry Houston, one of the greatest on-screen couples.
That's so they have no chemistry and they trade stupid ass lines, but they're reviewing footage in one scene, and it's of two people who died. The second and third person found dead of the whatever is causing this outbreak, quote unquote outbreak. And they took home movies of each other, and the first home movie is them filming each other in Central Park, and then the guy starts beating up whoever's holding the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And Terry, our Department of Health official, cracks this smile like she's into this and she's getting a bit off. And then the next set of footage they watch is the woman in the home movie footage, like undressing, and they're getting ready to fuck. And she's just completely a mixture of nonplussed and a little bit unsettled.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is wrong with you?
It's
so weird.
She likes it rough. She likes rough stuff. And also not sexual in any way.
I guess. But at the same time, we're like supposed to be like, oh, these two are going to hook up, and there's nothing between them. There's nothing there. I don't know why they put that in.
But they, just so you know, they discover that people's computers crashed before they died, which doesn't happen all the time. And
which is utterly circumstantial.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't mean anything.
Like, it's like taking a survey. It's like phone survey. It's like, yeah, we've seen that there's an outbreak of. God damn, fucking with your mic. Like, we've seen that there's an outbreak of, food poisoning, and we have a question. God damn it! What are you doing?
Pissing you off, apparently.
Just mute your fucking mic when you're dicking around with it.
Listen.
Brandon, I empathize with you so hard because this is exactly what Paprika does every fucking time I have to ask her for lines. It is seriously, please stand closer to the mic. Please don't bump the mic. Please take a breath between each line. Please, you do like everything you're supposed to do just to record clean audio, and she'll just hold it against me in spite and do everything that pisses me off.
You know what? People who value others' time try not to halt the discussion process. They try to as quietly as they can, do things that they need to do that come up, and try to gingerly handle the situation. Rude people stop everything and point it out.
No, rude people don't mute themselves to adjust their microphone equipment and then unmute themselves.
Rude people have barking dogs that they don't put away.
Rude people have barking cats.
Rude people get completely drunk before they're supposed to record.
Look, okay. Dogs in the background, cats in the background, ice in my drink clinking. These are all just character aspects. That's fine. Bumping the mic constantly is not okay.
I'm not bumping the mic. I'm trying to carefully take my headset off. I can't hear my own fucking mic, so
then
I think
mute
I'm
your
doing it
fucking
quietly.
Microphone and then do it.
Listen, I'm trying to be quiet. Here, I'll mute myself now. Is this helping? I'm clicking the mute button on Skype repeatedly. Does that help?
This discussion is going nowhere.
This is going nowhere.
So anyway, back to people on the internet that should be killed. We've got.
No.
And is he on?
No, it's like
dear.
You get a phone call from someone doing a phone survey, and they're just like, yeah, there seems to be an outbreak of food poisoning, and I have a question to ask you. Have you experienced food poisoning? Yeah, I have had food poisoning just now. Okay, and a few questions. Do you have a television? Yes. Shit, everyone else has too.
That's right. Has your television had static on it lately? We think that food poisoning is coming through the static. I mean, in 2002. I mean, sure. But.
Well, and this this movie, and we kind of came to this conclusion after watching it. After The Ring, the American The Ring release.
I wish that had been the title. I wish the title had been The American The Ring.
The release, the sequel. After that, with its disturbing imagery of like just flashes to student art house stuff, like everyone just hopped on that for decades. Of this is how you do a scary thing in a movie. This is how you trip people out. This is how you be deep and be creative. And it's just like, it worked for The Ring. It does not work for everything else. And it does not work for FearDotCom because randomly it's predicated on getting, you know what? We're kind of skipping ahead, but basically watching FearDotCom is supposed to elicit your deepest fear. But then it's just random shit like cockroaches, disturbing imagery.
Yeah.
And none of it, there's no theme to it. Like they allude to it slightly, but it doesn't really actually get executed well in the film. But anyway, let's continue on with the plot.
So after the computers crash and they discover that, they send each of the victims' hard drives to Mike's friend, Denise Stone, who is a forensic specialist. Instead of looking at the computers with the hard drives in them, they remove the hard drives and send them to Denise Stone, who is a forensic specialist.
Yeah, I know this was 2002, but you would just take the laptop with you.
And I want to say something. Denise Stone, I think Denise Stone should have been our main character. What do you guys think? Do you think that's a hot take?
You know what? That's a good point, though.
DP?
Because when she goes crazy after watching Fear.com, she's like writing in binary on the fucking walls. And it was a bit goofy at first. But now that you mention it, yeah, she should have been the main investigator. She should have been all of this, right?
DP.
No, I think Denise should, I'm hot take here. Think Denise should have been Dennis Stone.
Oh, yeah. Man.
I think they should have been a chain smoker, and I think that their character traits, instead of doing math and being a forensic specialist, I think that they should have been a grizzled detective with a whiskey bottle in his desk.
Mm-hmm.
Who wears a trench coat and a fedora.
I see.
And shoots up schools.
Now, do you remember there is a grizzled old smoker in the movie, though, and there was some contention about whether or not he would light his cigarette?
Oh, God.
Yeah, shit.
So, yeah, there's another victim who I think works at the Department of Health with Terry, and he reviews the evidence, I think, and then like breaks his laptop, and she comes in and says, "What happened to your computer?" "Oh, it's broken. I sent it in." And then he leaves and goes to this random fucking like abandoned power plant or something. It looks like one of the sets from RoboCop. It really,
we all decided.
Yeah.
We were all tripping over ourselves to be like, this is RoboCop, right?
It looks like that one scene in RoboCop when they have to fight out in the old abandoned factory.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like seeing the girl with Ball, and we'll bring up Ball soon.
The girl with balls.
Ball.
Hello.
Hello. I am also in this movie. He can't light his cigarette. And he's walking and can't light his cigarette, and then takes it out of his mouth and then puts it back in and just can't decide.
He lights
there's no reason for this.
He lights it and it unlights itself, and there's just so much trouble. This man cannot figure out cigarettes.
And then he gets back in his car because he sees something that spooks him, but he's still trying to like fumble with the cigarette, and then crashes his car because he gets scared. It's fucking hilarious.
The best part about that character is that he has a car crash. His car drives without him doing it, and he crashes into a wall. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is later on in a throwaway line of dialogue, the female lead says, "And did you know that his worst fear was dying in a car crash?" And it's like, yeah. Fuck you! You can't come up with that like 15, 20 minutes later in the movie and just say that.
It's weird. The movie showed us, didn't tell us, but then it told us later, and it's just like. Good job. You just deflated that entire scene of this character. That's the like. It feels like there's scenes cut because we get introduced to Cigarette Man, and then immediately he just goes off and dies.
The movie does that like 5 times.
Oh yeah,
it just introduces a character and they immediately die, and there's
no investment at all.
Like Denise Stone, who I'm putting a picture in the chat right now in the Skype chat. This is an alternate cover for the movie.
God.
An alternate cover of the movie featuring the character of Denise Stone, who should have been the main character.
You're totally right, though. Like, especially like considering Creepypasta, it's all from like, I found this site.
Right.
I'm the one typing.
I work as a forensic data analyst, and I was sent several hard drives in a box. And when I looked through them, I found this thread, and between all of them and blah, blah, blah. But instead,
now I wish I hadn't.
Yeah. Instead, she's just kind of a throwaway thing, except for this alternate cover that looks like it's just a romantic comedy from the 90s, but with blood.
Can we talk about this cover? Because under near the rating, the 16 and up rating, there's a spider and a fist with some accentuation. I don't know what those are supposed to communicate to us.
That's telling you that there's spiders in the movie.
But there's no spiders in the movie. There's cockroaches, but no spiders.
Oh, insects in general. It's just all insects.
Spiders aren't insects. They're arthropods.
Listen,
or arachnids.
Oh, I'm a spidertologist lawyer.
Oh my God!
Entomologist is the term you're looking for.
Wait a minute. A black circle with a white spider on this. Is this a prequel to Venom?
Venom 2's coming out. I'm probably seeing it because it was a terrible movie.
Could we get a remake of FearDotCom, but instead the bad guy's played by Will Ferrell?
Can we just remake FearDotCom?
Can we just...
I bet you Warner Brothers will sell us the licensing rights for like $50.
Dude,
Seriously.
Warner Brothers doesn't remember they made this movie.
No, they do, because they will still copyright stuff on YouTube.
Oh, well,
but that's probably a bot, so it's not like they're actively aware of it.
It's ball. But I guess we need to put this as the thumbnail now because we're going to be referencing this.
You know what? Yeah, let's do that. I like that idea.
Look at the spider, everybody. What the fuck? There's punching and spiders in this movie. Watch out.
Violence and something. I don't know what that means.
Violence and spiders is my favorite. I don't
System
know.
of a Down song.
Yeah. Violence and spiders.
Make sure that when you're watching the movie that you put the DVD into your PlayStation 2.
Yes. When you've legally purchased a copy of the disc.
Holy shit.
I really wish that the grizzled detective would die in a car crash, and then 20 minutes later, instead of saying his fear was dying in a car crash, instead it's just like, yeah, and his greatest fear was dying without being able to quit smoking.
Speaking of that, next to the fist and the spider, they should have two circles, one with a lit and one with an unlit cigarette. Cigarettes appear in this, both lit and unlit.
Maybe the fact that the cigarette unlights itself is telling you that there's two realities happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point in the movie, you're seeing the divergent timelines.
Brandon, you need to stop watching so much David Lynch.
Oh.
I know that you love Twin Peaks now, and you've betrayed everything you once believed. But
that is so not true. I still fucking hate Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either. I don't hate it, but I just don't get it.
I will say that I think that this is it is a pretentious film, but it's so pretentious in a not offensive way.
Is it pretentious or just try hard?
Try hard.
I wouldn't categorize it as pretentious. It's too I'll give the film this.
It's trying to try new things in terms of plot and in terms of like the way that it's filmed and everything. And I'm sure the people who made this movie were like, we made fucking gold. That's goddamn. And then everyone is just like, we can't follow the plot of this movie.
It's like like many creepypastas, the premise of, especially back in 2002, there's a website that like kills you, and it's recording all this horrific snuff stuff. That's fine, but the way they go about it is just so ridiculous.
Like a creepypasta.
Anyway, also like a creepypasta, it's bloated. Yeah. That's the big thing. Is that okay? We have torture scenes. We have
tits.
We have tits. We have torture scenes. We have the ring. It's also the ring. There's this really smart girl that shows up and helps the main character, and she's like this really awesome waifu. Now,
two waifus.
Yeah, that's true. Two waifus in one. Anyway,
and frankly, Denise is the better waifu. I'm saying right now.
Denise is awesome. Yeah. Denise, speaking of Denise, she discovers that all of the victims had visited a site called FearDotCom.com.
Oh boy.
FearDotCom spelled out .com.
Because they were too late to get the domain for Fear.com.
What happened? I'll tell you exactly what happened. They were like, "Yeah, we're with a big Hollywood production. We're with Warner Brothers. We can get Fear.com. It's not going to be any big deal. We'll name our entire movie after that. Write it all around that." And then they said to the guy who owns the domain, some guy in like, Belgium or some shit. They were like, hey, we're interested in buying Fear.com. And he was like, okay, let's discuss this. Opening bid I will accept is 1 million. And they were like, oh, no.
Well, shit.
No, sorry. So FearDotCom.com, which depicts voyeuristic torture murder. That's what Wikipedia says.
My favorite.
Yeah. VTM, I think is known as in the fetish community.
Mm-hmm.
Upon looking at the site itself, Denise is subjected to various sights and sounds of torture that eventually drive her insane. Actually, just roaches. Resulting in her falling to her death from her apartment window after writing lol 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 all over the walls. 10101.
That right there are two good premises for two good separate movies that should not be mixed together.
Right.
The idea of like a torture site, okay, perfectly fine, not terribly original, but that's a perfectly fine plot. Is that there's a torture website, a snuff website that would have been very cutting edge in 2002.
And the reminder. Sorry, go ahead.
The other idea being, how about some sort of forbidden object, or how about a website? And if you see the website, you're driven to insanity for no reason. Also a good idea. Why these two together?
And I want to point out a website that does live streaming in 2002, where every live stream starts at 0 subscribers, and then the number goes up as people log into view.
Not viewers, not active viewers, but subscribers.
Yeah. When was YouTube created? Okay, I just typed out 2005. So YouTube was created 4 years after 2002? No, 6 years? 8 years after 2002? 3 years after this movie came out, YouTube was created with its subscribers. So what were people subscribing to watch?
I think old people who made this movie were like, you subscribe to a newspaper. That's basically like a website. Yeah, whatever. Call it subscribers. That's my assumption.
Did Fear.com invent the concept of subscribing to a video channel?
Maybe. Or maybe you subscribe to a forum. I don't know.
I do like this idea revolving around Fear.com as a website that is a subscription service that has snuff films, and the government hasn't found out about it. Even the 2002 government would be like, okay, Fear.com, which is a very easy thing to type into a search bar, is just showing snuff films. Are we going to do anything about that?
No, that's not terrorism.
That's another thing. If I were to rewrite this movie, the whole point that it's a website would be front and center. And if you're going to investigate that, you would look at it and go, oh, 16,000 people tune in every night to see this. Let's maybe, trace some IP addresses, go see who's watching this, like actual forensic and the FBI and CIA operatives do. But they go about it in the most batshit crazy way of, must be a virus. Oh, computer crashes? Quick, look up the website. It's trying to speculate on the effects of the internet, but it doesn't understand the internet at all.
Right.
Simultaneously.
And I don't know, can we let them off the hook for not understanding the internet in a world post-Matrix?
No. Seriously, no. This did come out after, it's after the Matrix.
Yeah.
And somehow looks worse.
It came out after the Matrix and still has that old-timey way of thinking of the internet, and I don't know. Very strange.
It's you can look at a lot of old movies, and it's weird how accurate they can predict certain things.
Yeah, like hackers. Yeah.
Or swordfish. But you look at something like Serial Experiments Lane.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you haven't seen that, Slimebeast, because you're not a weeb. But it just predicted 4chan before it was a thing.
Yeah.
And it predicted Anonymous before it was a thing.
It predicted internet meetups as a thing.
Let me just step out of, for anybody out there who's not a weeb, like me, there was a show called The Lone Gunman, which was a spin-off of X-Files back in the day, that had a episode where a remote-controlled jetliner full of passengers was steered by a shadow government organization into the Empire State Building.
Ooh.
So, yeah, a little predictive.
And, like, I love speculative fiction. That's what most of sci-fi is. And this movie, it starts out all right, but it just doesn't understand its own concept, which is hilarious and a bit sad. Anyway, moving off the plot.
It's a very charming movie.
Yeah. No, it is. It's such a product of its time.
I hate, good, bad movies that are made that are flawed through some sort of like maliciousness, or some sort of like ugliness on the part of the creators. This is just like such a charming movie in that it gets everything perfectly wrong.
Right. Just like a creepypasta.
Yeah.
Mike feels guilty, thinking that he should have never gotten Denise involved in the case. Terry figures out that people who visit the website die within 48 hours. Not 7 days like The Ring. Apparently from what they feared most in their lives. Now here's the real creepypasta part. Is everybody ready out there? Despite such dangerous knowledge, both she and Mike visit the site in order to figure out what is happening.
Apart from each other, not at the same time.
Yeah. Why did I look at the site when I knew it killed people?
Well,
I had to see. I couldn't.
Here's the great thing. So after they have their run-in with Denise, the forensic IT analyst or whatever, Terry says to Mike, "Hey, just promise me you won't visit that site." And then he does.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sees a bunch of shit, and he like falls down the rabbit hole, and he finds out some necessary information to progress the plot. And then like he's getting hauled away by the EMTs. And she says, "What happened? What happened?" He's giving this cryptic information. She just says, I don't understand. And he says, "Promise me you'll never visit that site." And then she goes and visits the site. Like, this is the 5th time this has happened.
Listen, Abysmii, if you cannot detect the parallels between the climax of FearDotCom and the climax of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, then I just don't know. You're maybe not enough of a film nerd, I mean, the site is like the poison and the dagger, the two lovers. One of them.
Here's the problem with your thesis here.
It's bullshit.
Romeo and Juliet were into each other. There was chemistry there. There was reason for their chemistry. There is no reason for the chemistry between Mike and Terry.
Okay, counterpoint? What is the chemistry between Romeo and Juliet?
They are young and stupid, and they want the forbidden fruit of falling in love with their enemy's offspring.
Okay, that's a good answer, because I like the idea. I want to write the alternate story where they mend fences, and then like the two families become friends, but then they grow apart, and they're just like, actually, she's kind of just like an idiot.
Yeah,
like she's hot and all, but she's like a giant dumbass, and it's like he's really inconsiderate of my feelings.
She makes me watch
Romeo.
RuPaul's Drag Race like every night, and I'm just not into that show.
Romeo, get out of the bushes! Oh my fucking god! Why are you always outside my fucking window?
We get it. Like, that was charming the first time, but like,
stop stalking me, you freak.
By the way, I want to point out, Abysmii came up with the perfect title for an early 2000s comedic reboot of Romeo and Juliet in a modern-day high school, which would be called Romeo and Juliet Are Into Each Other.
You're welcome, Hollywood.
They're like totally into each other. Fair Verona. Lend me your ears. As they begin to experience... Oh, wait. We should point out something this glosses over is the fact that Terry, Oklahoma, whatever her name is, goes to swims underwater after being pointed to the water by an old woman
God.
with no eyes.
No. Okay, yeah, no. So
eyes.
she visits the site, and then shit goes down. The ring, whatever happens, she blacks out,
Yes.
wakes up like outside of the fucking abandoned nuclear power plant from RoboCop, and then just like walks around and discovers a sewer, dives into said sewer, and it's just like, oh, this is going to be gross, and then just does it, and because homeless people told her to. That's a weird part, by the way. I still don't understand that part at all.
Like a good 20% chance that the homeless people in that movie were real homeless people.
The movie just goes off the rails at this point. Like we could not follow what was happening, and I rewatched it and I still couldn't follow what was happening.
No, you know what happened? That Terry Houston character, the actress, walks into the set. She lost the thread of what she was supposed to be doing in that scene. And so the old woman, who's the set designer for the movie, points to the water like, you're supposed to go there, sweetheart. You're going in the water, baby. Come on. That's actually who designed the entire look of the film, is that crazy woman with the milky white eyes.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right, what happens next?
But she goes in the sewer water and she pulls the corpse of the victim out, the woman who's haunting the computer, remember?
Which is straight out of The Ring.
Yeah.
Like at that point, we all kind of went, oh my God, this is The Ring.
Yeah.
This is just ripping it off entirely.
As they begin to experience paranoia and hallucinations, like the deceased, including that of a young girl and her inflatable ball. I think I can do that better. Inflatable ball. There we go.
There you go.
They race against time to figure out if any of it has any connection to an extremely vicious serial killer. For everybody out there who thought this was about a haunted website and or a virus, we now have a serial killer also thrown into the mix. A vicious serial killer, Alistair Pratt. Which, if you name your child Alistair Pratt, he's going to either be a serial killer or a
British serial killer.
Who's been
Alistair Pratt's my name.
Alistair Pratt.
This is so when Mike hallucinates from FearDotCom, we see a lot of screen time for Ball. Ball, by the way, being the inflatable white ball that the little girl was bouncing, and we kind of fell in love with that character because
the ball,
it just
not
kept...
the girl.
No. Yeah, no, the ball. And the ball just kept.
Why us falling in love with the character does it need to be anything inappropriate? We feel like we can't we just like the character?
That's true.
Wait, you guys didn't wanna fuck the ball? Okay, never mind.
No, I wouldn't. Ball is too innocent. I wouldn't do that to Ball. But Ball was great because Ball would just show up alone.
Don't fuck children. Don't fuck balls. Don't fuck children.
Damn it.
Ball would just show up in empty elevators and just bounce down the hall.
I am Ball.
You left me in an elevator. And it's just... You'll hear on the commentary track how much we love Ball.
What goes downstairs alone or in pairs, you can't resist its call.
Instead of matching the melody, it's just like Ball.
Ball. Ball.
Ball is the best character, and I will insert anytime I see a Ball on screen in any other movie, I'm just going to bring that voice up because it's fucking hilarious.
For anybody who's still confused, the three of us are inhaling while talking in an attempt to sound like a text-to-speech robot, which doesn't work, but that also is the voice for Ball. We've decided. The ball has a voice, and that's how it talks. Hello, I am a ball. Fuck you. Fuck.
It makes more sense when you watch our commentary track.
Fuck you.
Probably not.
You are not a ball.
Okay, so so she finds the body, and then what happens?
As they begin to blah, blah, blah. Oh, Alistair Pratt, who's been eluding Mike and the FBI for years. Okay? Alistair Pratt played competently by Will Ferrell.
No.
It is revealed that FearDotCom is, in fact, a ghost site made by one of Pratt's first victims, who is seeking revenge because people watched her being tortured and murdered.
I would like to point out that we skipped over a scene that the movie tried to make very important, but wasn't. So Terry and Mike like, I forget how they get this fucking tip, but they go and they talk to an author who's in a bar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck that guy. Yeah.
Who's getting a blowjob because it's haha funny edgy, I guess. And he's like, oh yeah, I knew Polidori. Oh, did you we read your book? Oh yeah, it's all bullshit. The whole thing about the internet having a consciousness and being able to trap ghost energy, it's all bullshit. Ha 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 ha.
Wait, he
and
wrote
then they
the
go
book,
off.
not Polidori?
So, well, he and Polidori worked together on the basic concepts, but he did write the book, and that was the book that Polidori was clutching when he died after getting hit by a subway train. And so they leave, and it's like, okay, so we shouldn't believe the obvious supernatural stuff you've already put in front of us. Like, it was the most pointless scene out of everything they could have cut out of this movie. That should have been it. And this was half an hour before wherever the fuck we're in the plot right now, by the way. That's also in the film.
3 things to note about that. Thing number 1, the author in the bar is never seen again.
True.
Thing number 2, the author in the bar is there only to say, ghosts don't exist in a movie where we have, as the audience, seen several ghosts already. Yeah. Your ghost movie has ghosts in it at this point. We don't... Why? What? And third thing I want to point out is I think, now that you mention it, I'm thinking that the guy in the bar was going to be Polidori in the original draft of the script.
Oh,
but they wanted to have a stinger at the beginning, so they killed him off with being hit by a train. Because that would make a little tiny bit more sense if he was in a bar and they were like, what's all this stuff about? And he's like, fuck it all. I don't give it. I'm just drinking because I just saw some crazy shit in the subway.
Well, and also
I'm gonna die in 48 hours. I don't know.
In our rewrite, where Denise is the main character, it would make sense for her to go down to this bar and have an extended conversation with this author that would reveal exposition and background. But of course, it's 2 minutes long, and then it just never shows up again. All right, continue.
Well, I want to say, I'm going to start over this paragraph because I have something very important to ask you guys.
Sure.
It is revealed that FearDotCom is, in fact, a ghost site made by one of Pratt's victims, who is seeking revenge because people watched her being tortured and murdered. So FearDotCom, the site on which people watch the serial killer torture and murder women, including this woman, was created by this woman after she was dead for people to watch other girls get tortured by this guy who has webcams set up to broadcast to FearDotCom, which was made by the ghost afterward. What? My question is, gentlemen, what the fuck? DP, go. Explain it.
Very simple. It's very simple. See,
was that the sound of you running away? Did you mute and leave the room?
Away.
Okay.
I have nothing further to add.
Oh, okay.
That's the whole movie encapsulated right there, is this confusing jumble of ideas that someone really, they had a good start, but they just convoluted it along the way and then just kind of vomited out. And that's the movie.
It could have actually been one of many other really good to at the very least serviceable movies if it just picked one of these threads and went with it.
Right.
It really wouldn't take.
Mm-hmm.
They probably could have halved the budget and just made a movie about there's a creepy website and take all the sex and a lot of the violence out of it and just leave it there's this creepy website and people watch it and they die.
Would they leave in all the spiders?
Leave in all the spiders.
Okay.
Leave in all 0 of the spiders.
No, there were spiders in the movie. It's just they were in the background.
You just can't see them.
Yeah.
Or go the other direction, lean into the snuff website and just make a movie about fear mongering about what the internet's going to be like. Look, it enables this kind of terrible stuff. So the internet's a scary place, and that would work on 2002 mentality.
You could so easily play on just boomers' fucking fears of, oh my god, what's on the internet and I can't track it and my kids are watching it.
Are your kids going to FearDotCom? It's more likely than you think. But I want to point out too that we do get our answer as to who the little girl with ball is. With ball.
Oh.
Oh. The little girl with ball is the woman who made FearDotCom, the dead woman, the ghost.
Yeah.
Because we go and we meet with John Lennon, and John Lennon has a photo.
Oh, yeah, shit.
That's right.
This lady who looks like John Lennon, who's the mother.
Who is the wife.
Wife?
Yeah, the wife of Cigarette
She's the
Man.
wife of the victim. Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Why did she have the picture of...
Oh, no, sorry. The two different people. No, you're right. It is the mother.
Okay, yeah. So John Lennon has a photograph of this girl with ball, and we're like, why does she have a photograph of girl with ball? And it turns out that's the girl who was killed that is haunting the website when she was a child. And that's a photo of her with white hair and a white dress playing with a white ball, looking like a fucking ghost when she was a child for no reason.
But at the same time, the people who haunt Denise and Jack and Terry are not girl. They're just other people who I guess were victims of the serial killer.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah. So follow this here. In The Ring, you have this abused character who is put into a well and drowns and everything, and haunts people and wants them to know about the tragedy that happened to her.
Right.
Yeah.
Rather than torture or attack or do anything to the killer himself, Alistair
Pratt.
Pratt.
Chris Pratt's father.
Yes, precisely. Rather than do anything to him, this person just attacks anyone who sees the website and is also, by proxy, a victim. Also, people are looking at the website for voyeuristic pleasure, but are they like dying in other parts of the world and we just don't know about it?
That's what's not explained is 16,000 people show up for every live stream.
Which is an insane, nonsensical number.
Huge number.
I think he's buying viewers.
Yeah.
Russian bots, all of them.
Even Markiplier doesn't get that many views, and he's not even being murdered.
And that's the other problem is that it's
he might get more views if he gets murdered.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Probably. There's this they should be investigating this viewer base, but they're just like, oh my God, I saw the site, now I'm dead. Well, then the entire fucking country should be dead because apparently 16,000 people every day are tuning into this. And this isn't being reported everywhere.
And it caused a blight.
I went to FearDotCom. I saw the site.
It wasn't right.
Torture is murder.
So the girl with the ball is the ghost character who also was a hemophiliac.
Yeah.
For no reason, even though hemophiliacs are almost all male, genetically for some reason. I don't know.
Despite being 50% of the population.
God damn it.
I think 52 now.
No. Despite being 48% of the population,
Christ.
males account for 99% of hemophiliacs.
God damn it. Hemophiliacs. Yeah. Hemophilia is not a fetish. She was tortured.
Hemophilia is the fetish for blood.
She was tortured and murdered. She was tortured by Pratt for 48 hours before she begged him to kill her, which explains why the victims have 48 hours to live. Okay.
Sure. I guess it does.
Mike and Terry track down Pratt. They just do it. And release the spirit of the murdered girl from the website. They just do it. Which kills Pratt somehow. However, however, Mike is also killed. So our lead character is shot by the serial killer and dies. But does anybody want to explain to me how Alistair Pratt is killed by the ghost?
If I remember correctly. Oh wait, no, I don't. I don't remember that at all, actually. Go ahead.
The goat, his eyes turn all black, and he imagines himself, he's in his mind with ghosts pulling him around and lifting him and spinning him and giving him noogies, I guess, and
yeah,
shaking him upside down so all the change falls out of his pockets, and then he's dead. in his mind, I guess. And
because they couldn't do that before because they needed someone to. This is what doesn't make any sense. They're trying to reach out to people to figure out the mystery, but then they just kill most of them because they introduce this stupid line of questioning of, "Oh, do you like to watch? Do you want to hurt people?" It's like, how about just have the message be, "Help! There's a serial killer.
Pratt killed me."
Yeah, I'm imprisoned. Here is where he is. But it's this weird, edgy, voyeuristic, we have to test you, which makes zero sense.
So I'm going to blow you guys' minds. Okay?
Go ahead, blow us.
That stuff, you remember, everybody here remembers Alistair Pratt in his mind in old grainy footage. For some reason, it's old movie footage from the 1920s.
Right.
He gets, yanked around by ghosts and everything. Do you guys remember that? Both of you?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that wasn't going to be in grainy footage, and I don't think that was going to be in his mind. I think that was going to be the actual reality of what happened when the ghost was released, but it looked too stupid. So they said, why don't we just make it that it happens in his mind, and he's actually just laying there on the table, or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
I think that happening in quote-unquote real life was a step too far for the makers of FearDotCom, who said, no, that's not believable enough. We're going so good with our gritty, realistic story. Anyway, the ending scene of the movie shows Terry lying in bed with her cat. The phone rings, but she hears no one on the line, only static. She hangs up and hugs the cat. So we now know who was phone.
Mm-hmm.
It was Mike.
FearDotCom.
Yeah. I think this is supposed to be Mike calling her.
Well, it's phone.
Say what?
Pick up the phone.
Hello. Have you? Hello. Fuck.
I'm still in the elevator.
Hello. I am Agent Ball with the FBI. Buy me gift cards.
Want to go out sometime?
Everybody, please send us ball fan art.
Hell yes, ball.
Just send us pictures of circles.
New phone. Who dis? So, who do we think is calling her? Do you think that the Fear.com is calling her? Do you think it's Mike? Do you think it's Alistair? Do you think it's a wrong number?
It doesn't fucking matter because,
yeah,
none of this has any logic to it as to who's haunting whom, who's got the power, why it's connected to this serial killer. It doesn't matter. It's such a fake out. We could have a sequel ending that does no one thought actually deserved a sequel.
And unless memory totally disserves me here, I don't think it was Static that called her. I think it was modem noises. I think it was dial-up modem noises, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so too. I think you're correct.
Whatever fucking Zoomer wrote this goddamn article just thought that was Static and didn't realize it's a 28.8K modem.
I think it was AOL calling her.
Yeah. Oh man, could you imagine just AOL calling with 1990s, deals on internet? To get your free CD, press 1 now. What?
100 free hours.
100 free hours. After which it's incredibly expensive per hour.
I think Terry Houston was being called by the future. Here's the new millennium.
Oh.
Web
Welcome,
2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to revenge porn. I have no clue.
No one knows. It doesn't matter. And that's Fear.com.
Yeah.
That's the whole fucking movie.
So I want to point out, Fear.com was with a $40 million budget.
Jesus.
God.
Its worldwide release made $18.9 million. It's how much? Okay, guys.
That was probably all just location fees for shooting in New York or it might have been Canada. Shit, I forget where they wasn't it
Montreal,
Canada, Germany, Montreal.
Luxembourg, UK.
This is Luxembourg, yeah.
But I know some of you may have the wiki open. I'm going to ask for your honor system pledge here to not look at the wiki. How much money do you think this made on opening weekend? $40 million budget.
I want to guess
1.5.
How much?
1.5 mil.
That's about where I'm at. I was thinking like 1 million and some change.
Okay, well, it's actually 5 million, so it did a bit better than you thought, but really badly.
Yeah,
I do love this comment from Roger Ebert. He criticized the film for its lack of originality, specifically, and its overt violence. Roger Ebert, who has never had a good opinion about anything.
Overt violence? There's barely any in the film.
He was such a fucking fainting daffodil at any bit of violence. It's like, homie, we're in the 90s. We like violence. Shut up.
Yeah.
And it's lack of originality. Of all the things you could criticize this movie for, this had to have been fucking bleeding edge.
It's like, other than the fact that it's ripping off The Ring, a lot of it is, a little novel. So
no, but like you know what? He would criticize The Ring for the same exact shit. He wouldn't be able to tell the difference between these two movies.
Oh, no.
All I'm saying is Roger Ebert was a fucking idiot.
No, I totally agree.
There's another quote from Roger Ebert below that. It says, Roger Ebert gave the film 2 out of 4 stars and wrote, "Strange how good FearDotCom is and how bad," which is kind of our opinion, but not for the same reasons. The screenplay is a mess, and yet the visuals are so creative. This is one of the rare bad films you might actually want to see, but I wasn't a fan of all the spiders. So
spiders, all that I see, imprisoning me, absolute fear.
God damn it.
FearDotCom.
So this was from the director of the House on Haunted Hill reboot, and nothing else notable after that.
Poor bastard.
And he did say, the director said that the female lead was miscast. He said that she was too good, essentially, for the role, I guess. He said that she had too much grace and elegance for the character.
Hey, that's not the problem, but all right.
She's a little blank, a little bland. This was almost rated NC-17, but they, I guess, cut...
What?
Yeah, they cut something out for the R rating. I guess, I don't know.
They cut out one extra scene that had tits in it.
Yeah.
That was probably it.
Sorry, we have a 14 tit limit.
And
if you cross the line into 15 tits, then that's problematic.
We have a 14 tit limit, and you've shown 15.5.
Yeah.
What's the 0.5?
Jesus Christ.
This also has a 3% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
I would give it more than a 3, personally.
Yeah, I do love just how aggressive people can get about movies. It's like 3%. Jeesh.
Like, I would give it I would give it 20%.
3% is like you turn the camera on and then like went, okay, hold on, we need to do something, and then forgot to turn it off, and then it just stays on static footage for a while. Like that. It's like, you went to do a test and you wrote your name down and that's it, so you get partial credit. That's 3%. This movie took time and effort, even if it's not great.
That gets into a weird thing of like 50. What are you doing to like get a movie below 50%? Like that's like, I think 50. Like if you're going below 50%, you're like actively wasting someone's time.
Right.
Yes.
I wouldn't even say that this movie was wasting my time. I think it was like attempting something. So like at bare minimum, it has to get 50%.
Yeah, I mean, the fact this wasn't it was basically ripping off The Ring. And it was... Say what?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it was basically trying to ride the internet trend. Internet is cool now. Everybody wants to ride the information superhighway.
Absolutely.
But, I would say it's not really like a soulless corporate film. It's not something like, when little Billy got his first computer, whoa, Shaquille O'Neal and Hakeem Olajuwon, it's not like one of those things where it's like, what? Why would
this is something Blumhouse would fund today, but it doesn't have the hallmarks of stupid Blumhouse shit that comes out today. It's of the same level, but it doesn't have the same maliciousness to it.
It's far better than what you're most likely to see advertised in theaters every October where it's just like Unfriended or or anything along those lines.
Happy Death Day.
Oh my god.
Fucking stupid.
Would we agree that this is actually slightly better than modern social media horror films?
Yes. No, it is.
Just all around better. I'm not saying just because of the visuals. I'm just saying like a better movie.
No, it totally is. Yeah. Like I saw this twice because I willingly was going to do so. I will not see Unfriended or whatever or Truth or Dare more than once.
Oh
I
my
actually
God.
haven't seen either of those. But
Abysmii, will you stop naming movies? What Unfriended or whatever sounds like the perfect title to a follow-up sequel. Like Unfriended, and then Unfriended 2, and then Unfriended or whatever, and then Unfriended Lamau, and then
I am a font of movies. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do we need to like? I bet this movie is better than the Slender Man movie.
Oh,
yes, it is.
Sake, yeah.
I've seen Slender Man, and yes, it is better.
That gets into what we're talking about with this film actually tried. Other movies aren't trying, man.
And that's the irony, is that FearDotCom was made by people who were trying to speculate on the internet. Slender Man was made by people who saw some images of Slender Man in Google Images and tried to make a movie.
Dude.
Without giving two shits.
Fucking, that scene in the trailers, I know I already made this point when I made my stupid video about the trailer, but there's a point where there's like a wall with all different images of Slender Man printed out on the wall, and it looks like a Google image search on a fucking wall.
It is, because the ending credits and part of the movie are other images people on the internet made of Slender Man that they took. And I don't even know if, like, I think some of them were like submitted with permission, but I bet you tons of them weren't.
Right. Well, Slender Man drawings, if you're drawing their character, that means your work is their property, right?
Totally.
Anyway. So, FearDotCom, I would recommend people see it.
I don't begrudge you, Victor Surge. You made your money. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congrats.
Yeah. Now, Chris Straub, I do have some problem with you. Okay, so...
That's FearDotCom, everybody. Go watch it by totally legal means. Listen to our commentary track. And leave in the comments below your opinions on this proto-Creepypasta from 2002.
And if you're a fan of Terry, or if you're a fan of Denise, like,
Denise all the way.
Represent that Denise army.
Right.
Denise, top waifu.
Go to one of those sites where you type something out and it prints it out for you in like the special characters, so you can look all cool and badass when you type, when you post tweets or comments or something, like the Zalgo text.
I really want
I am ball. Write I am ball and just comment it wherever you can. Go ahead, sorry.
Can we get an F for to rip Ball? Because Ball never showed up in anything after this, as far as I can tell.
Ball went on to direct, I think.
Ball was one and done with his acting.
Mm-hmm.
Could we get like a giant ASCII art of Ball?
Yes.
Nobody look into where Ball went after this. I don't want to hear about any Hollywood scandal where actresses were saying that he was showing them his ball.
He was showing up undressed.
Yeah.
He was showing up in random ficus plants.
God damn it. Just springing out of them and bouncing into nearby elevators. But...
What's up, baby?
Budget.
God damn it. Do you want to go to my island?